Hi there, in today's video we are going to build AI powered image generator using PHP. So we are going to use OpenAI API with PHP to generate realistic images in our application. So let me show you what we are going to build in this video. So this is going to be our main page with the logo and the input where we can just type what type of image we want to generate. So let me show you to generate an image. So let's say a cat playing with other cats. Click on the generate button. It will display the image loader and it will take some time to generate that image, and it will display right here. And as you can see, it displays the image right here, and this image is going to be also saved in our project that we can store in our database. So we are going to build this in our today's video. And let me just tell you about myself a little bit. So my name is Izaz Dino and I'm a full-time web development instructor at Udemy, teaching thousands of students around the globe. And I have courses on how we can build video chat with PHP, Twitter clone, Blogger clone, and a new course for ChatGPT clone with custom board where you can set rules for the AI to answer only on specific topic. So enough of that, let's just build our image generator. So I'm assuming you already have Apache and PHP running, up and running. So I have this root directory with these folders. Let me just create a folder for our image generator. So right here, just create a new folder for that, and this will be image, let's say AI image generator. And let me open up this folder with my code editor. So open this folder with your code editor, and from here we need to create a new folder, and this will be backend, and create another folder. This is going to be front end, and now create a new file. This is going to be index.php file, and the first thing we need to do to test out, we'll say echo hello there. And when you refresh, you should see a new folder right here, the image generator. Just go to your localhost/AI image generator folder that you have created. So it print hello there, which means our application is up and running. And if you have any question, you can just ask me. And now we need to create a new file in the backend, and this is going to be config.php. And again, create a new folder inside the backend. This is going to be classes, and inside the classes folder, create a new file. This is going to be our PHP class where we're going to store all the PHP methods to generate the image. So we'll say image generator.php, and we need to define the class. So let's just define the class right here, image generator. And now inside our config.php, we need to include this class. So we'll say require classes/image generator.php. And also we need to instantiate the class so we can access our class method in our application. So we'll say gen obj equal to new image generator. Now we have the access to our PHP class. And after that, we need to define a constant to store our API key from our OpenAI account. And this will be, let's say, API_token. And here will be our API token, which we are going to store later on. And inside our image generator class, we need to define a new property. And this is going to be error to store errors. Copy and paste for prompt, the user prompt to generate the image, and copy and paste for headers, and there's going to be the headers for the API request to actually add the API secret key to our header. I will explain this later. And this will be public, and this will be data. And now in our index.php file, we need to actually display our image generator right here. I'm not going to actually create my HTML template in this video because it will take so much time to build that just a simple template. You can build your own template, but if you want to use my template I'm going to use in this video, you can just go to Google and search for mirrorlesson.com, and the first link you should see mirrorlesson.com. Click on that, and this link is going to be also available in the description, and you should see this post. Click on that, the build AI image generator right here. Let me just zoom out, or you can just search right here, image generator post right here. So right here, scroll down until you find this basic HTML template right here. Now download the basic template right from here, and you should see this template file right here. After you unzip the file, you will have the template file. So just open up this index.php file from the templates, copy this and paste right inside your html.php file. Paste right here, and you need to also copy the CSS file and the upload folder where we're going to store the images and the template images right here. So we need to copy these folders from the template files and paste right inside our front end folder. Now when you refresh, you should see the template, as you can see. So inside this post, you can learn how you can build your OpenAI account. All the basic things you can just find in this post. So right here we have this basic form with the input field where we can just type what type of image we want to generate and the submit button. Let me show you this as well. So inside our index.php file, we have this submit button with the name generate that we can actually use in our validation, and we also have this input field right here with the name prompt that we are going to use. So let's just validate this input form right above here. So we need to create a PHP blog, and we need to include our config file from the backend folder so we can have the access to our image generator class. And now we need to also create an image variable, and it's going to be equal to empty string because we want to store the generated image into this variable so we can display right here. So let's say if $server super global variable request underscore method is equal to post, which means it's a post request. So when we submit the form, it's a post request. Let me show you the form with the post method, as you can see. So when we submit, it's going to be a post request. So here we check if it's a post request, then we're going to check for the inputs. So we'll say is set underscore post generate button. We clicked right from here. If you remember, we have this button with the name generate. Now we know user click on this button. Now we can actually create a prompt variable to store the prompt we get from the here. So we'll say underscore post, and here will be prompt using the name from the input right here, prompt. Now we get the prompt, user prompt, and right here and right below here we can check if our prompt variable is not empty, which means user not submitted any empty data using this prompt. Then we're going to continue, otherwise we're going to display the error. So we'll say error is going to be equal to, let's say, fields are required. Now let's just display the error. So if you scroll down, you should see the error comment right here. Uncomment this, and we need to display our error right here. Open and close PHP tag, echo error, and above right here, let me end the line, and above right here we need to get a if condition. So we'll say if is set the error variable, then we need to display the error. So we'll say and if. Now when you submit the button, it displays the error, as you can see. Now inside here, when we get the prompt, we need to make sure it's not there's no spaces. So we'll say prompt equal to trim function to remove the spaces from the string. So here will be our prompt variable, and now we need to store this prompt, user prompt, inside our class properties so we can use inside our class. So right here we can say gen obj prompt. Remember, we created this gen obj right here. We instantiate the class. Now we have access to this class, and right here we can say this gen property from here is going to be equal to this prompt. Now we have stored the prompt in the class. Now we can actually call the function we're going to create. So here will be generate function we are going to create in the class to actually generate the image. And right below here, right before the method, we can just say image variable we created above, which is right now empty, is going to be equal to this method, because this method is going to return the image after it saves the image in the uploads folder. So right here, just save this file and now scroll down, and now we need to check if the image variable is not empty after we generate the image. Let me just uncomment this and this as well. So right above here, we're going to create a if condition. So we'll say open and close PHP tag, say if not empty our image variable we created above, and then we need to display the image right here. Let me just create this right here. We'll say else display the error right below here, but here we need to echo our image. So we'll say echo image variable, and after the logo, and for the error we can say remove this, copy this if condition from here and paste right inside this PHP block. Remove this PHP block from here, and this will be our normal if condition. Sorry about that. So this will be our error. So when we generate the image, it should display this image with the message. Otherwise it will display the image logo, the image generator logo, and if there's an error, it should display the error. Now let's just refresh the page. If we get any error, click on the submit button. We are all good now. Now we need to generate our API secret key. So you need to go to your OpenAI account. So go to your platform.openai.com and sign up for a free account, and after you sign up for an account, you should redirect you to this page. Now click on this your username, click on view API keys, and click here to generate new API secret key, and this will be, let's say, image web app. Name can be anything, so just click on this create secret key button, copy the API key. Now go to your config.php file, and we need to store the API key right here. Now in our image generator class, we need to create a header to actually send a HTTP request to the API right in the OpenAI to generate the image. So let's just click on this overview right here and click on this image generation documentation link, and from here you can learn all about the image generation, how you can just build and edit, update anything you want to do right here. So, and here you can see the endpoint of the API key. Click on this, actually open this on new tab, this link. It should tell you how you can send the request to the API, and as you can see, here's the API location to actually send the API request. And here for the headers, we create the header variable right here. Let me show you the header properties. So this will be this header property. So it actually track the secret key we generated and the content type and the prompt as well. So we require to send the API key and the prompt, and it will return back the response as well, this response. So it will return back data and the URL, and you can see this data right here. So you need to send the prompt and it return back the response with the data and the URL, and when you send the prompt it will return the image. Now we know the API look endpoint for this image generation API we can use in our image generation class. So right below here we need to define a new function, and this will be a public function. The name of the function is going to be errors, to display the errors if we get any error. So we'll say return this error property right from here to display the error. And also we need to create a new method, and the method name is going to be set API header, and here we set the API header we want to send. So we'll say this means from this class, and we're going to say this header, the headers property is going to be equal to array, and inside here will be the header to send. So this will be this header right from here. So now inside here we can say authorization colon bearer space, and we need to concatenate our API key from the config.php file. We define the constant right here, this API token, and we can use this API token anywhere in our project. So in our class we can say API token right from here, and 8 comma right after here. Then we can say we need to define the content type we want to return. So we'll say the content type application /JSON to return as a JSON response, and add the comma right here. Now we set the header to send to our API request, to our HTTP request, and right below here we need to also create a method to send the prompt data to the API as well using HTTP request. So this will be public function set API data, and here we can say this data variable property right from here. This is going to be equal to array, and this will be prompt, and here we set the prompt. Remember the prompt we get from here, so we set this prompt, the user prompt, right from here. So this is going to be this prompt. Now we have two functions ready. We can actually create our generate method, this generate method to generate the image. So right below here we need to create a new method. The method name is going to be generate, and in this method we're going to send an HTTP request to our API endpoint with the data and the API token to generate the image. For that we're going to use curl. Curl is basically a library which allow us to send and receive data. So we can actually use this to send requests and receive data. The first thing here we need to do is actually set our API link, the endpoint, to send requests to the endpoint. Endpoint you can find right here. As you can see, we discussed earlier about this API link, the endpoint. We need to send request to this API endpoint to generate the image. So in our class we can actually create a new variable. For that we can say API URL is going to be equal to this URL. So we'll say http://api.openai.com/v1/images/generations, and we're going to end the line, and after that we can call over this set API header, and again this set API data. so you can see more clearly. And now we need to set up our curl request, the HTTP request, to send it to our API. So we'll say ch is going to be equal to the ch variable for our curl, and we're going to instantiate our curl request. So this will be curl underscore int for instantiate, and here will be the URL endpoint. And now we'll say curl underscore set opt, and this curl set opt function is basically set option for the curl session to allow us to send the post data. So here we'll pass the session, the curl session, and we need to pass the option. So we'll say curl opt underscore post, and this is going to be true, and this basically allows to send the post data. And after that, we want to set the post data to send. We can just copy and paste this and change the option to curl opt underscore post fields, and here will be our field to send. So we'll say JSON encode, because we need to send JSON encoded in string, and inside here will be this data. So this will be our data to send, which will be the prompt right from here, and this will be JSON encoded string. Now we need to copy and paste this, and this time this will be our HTTP header. So we'll say curl opt underscore HTTP header, and right here will be our HTTP header. So this will be this headers. Now this will be our API token. If you remember, we need to send the header with the API token and the data with the prompt. We already set the data, now we set the header to send. After that, we can just copy and paste this, and we need to return the request. So we'll say curl opt underscore return transfer. So we basically tell this curl to actually return the response, and this will be true. And after that, we can actually get the response. So we'll say response is going to be equal to curl underscore execute function to execute the request. Now we get the response, and now we need to close our curl request. So we'll say curl underscore close the curl session, and now we need to check if we get the response. So we'll say response variable right here. If the response variable is set, then we can say we need to create a response data variable, and this is going to be equal to JSON decode, because it will return a JSON encoded data, and inside here will be our response variable, and we need to pass true. And now to get the image, we can just say response data, and we can say data, and the first image will be here, and this will be URL. So this will be our return image. If you remember, right here it will return data URL. So this 0 is basically the first image, and copy this. Now we can actually say this file variable is going to be equal to this save image method, which we are going to create, and here will be the variable we copied. So this will be our file. We get the file from the API, and we need to also return the file to display on the index page. If you remember, we get the file from the method and display on the index page. Now we need to create this method. So right below here we need to actually define this method. So we'll say save image, and inside here the first thing we need to do, we need to actually get the response, which will be our image. And now we can say the image variable, we need to create an image URL variable, and this is going to be equal to our response variable. And after that, we can say we need to set the upload directory where we want to store the images. We already have a folder for that, uploads, inside of our front end. So we can say we need to create a folder for that. We'll say upload dir for directory, and that's going to be equal to front end slash uploads slash and the line. And now we need to actually create a file name. So we'll say file name is going to be equal to our upload directory first of all, and then we're going to concatenate our MD5 method to generate hash encrypted string, and here will be the current time using the time function, and this will be our file name, and again we need to concatenate another string for that, and this will be our extension, the file extension. So the file extension is going to be PNG. Save the file, and after that we need to actually save the file. So we can use file underscore put contents method to actually create a file, and this will be the file name with the location. So the location is going to be front end upload directory, and the file will be this, and this file we created here. And now for the file content we can use another function for that, which will be file get contents method to actually get the file content from the URL. So this URL, we get the image URL, will be our file content. So this will be image URL. Now this will create an image inside our upload directory, and after that we need to return the file name. And now we can actually test this out, but first of all let me give you an overview. So first of all, we create our image generator class with properties right here: error, prompt, header, and data. And we create this error variable to set the error if we get any error, and we forgot to set the error right here. We can actually set the error right here. So we'll say this error is going to be equal to, let's say API request failed, and return false. So we created this error method to actually set the errors, and then we created a function to actually set the header request to send it over HTTP request with our API token. And we have this data, and we have this method. We set the URL, we call the method to set our header and the data, and then we instantiate our call request with the post data, and we send the request, and then we call the method to actually save the image. And now let's just test this out. Refresh the page, and let's say a playful puppy with a kitty. Let's say kitty. I also forgot to actually display the loader image. Let's display this as well. When we click on that, we need to use a jQuery function to actually display the loader image we already have. So just copy this prompt from here to save the time, and go to your index.php file and scroll down to the bottom, and above the body tag we can actually open up our script tag, and we can close the script tag right here, and I need to call a function, and here will be our ID for form to check if our form, this form is submitted. Then we're going to hide our logo image, this logo image, and we're going to display this loader image. So right after here we can say submit, and here will be our function. And first of all we need to hide our logo using the logo ID. If you remember, we have this logo ID for the image. We need to call our function. We'll say hide to hide that, and after that we need to use our loader ID for this loader div. Let me show you the loader div. This loader div to remove this hidden class. So you can say dot remove class function, and we need to remove the hidden class. Now save the file, and we can actually test this out. Let's paste the prompt and click on the generate button, and we get the few errors. So it says undefined key data. So let's see what happened. Go to your image generator class. Sorry about that. 44, this data. I think we didn't get the response. To debug this, we can actually check the response right here. We can var dump our response, and we can actually refresh the page to resend the request. Now it says code nil, message you didn't provide API key. So you need to provide the API key. So it says we didn't provide the API key. So let's see what happened right here. We have this header, and we set this header, and we have a typo right here. It should be E. Sorry about that. And we also have a typo right here. It should be application. Now let's try to resend the request. And as you can see, it successfully generated the image, but it also displayed the var dump right here because we forgot to remove this right from here. Save the file, and let's check the upload directory. Now we have the image here as well. As you can see, it successfully generated this image. Let's just test this again, and now let's generate the image. So we'll say, this time we'll say a cat playing with puppy. Click on the generate button. Now display the loader image, as you can see, and it successfully generated the image, as you can see, and the image is also stored in our directory. So that's going to be it for now. And if you have any question related to this question, make sure to post right inside the post right below here, so we can actually answer that question right here. And if you want to download the source code, you can just go to this post. We have the source codes here as well, and we have the step-by-step guide as well. So make sure to subscribe to this channel to get more content just like this. So see you next time.